What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I've got a very fascinating video for you guys, and it's about dang time that this happens. Check this out, y'all. Jordan calls on DOJ to prosecute ex-CIA director Brennan. That's right, so John Brennan's coming in. He's going to have to face the Pied Piper, and oh yeah, they're probably going to be going to jail. And now, honestly, it's only going to be for a few months. We're not going to get years conviction for anything like this. And you know, the left, they're going to cry and scream. They're going to whinge. They're going to gnash their teeth about this, saying Donald Trump's going after his political enemies. I can guarantee you that Politico is going to mention something about Donald Trump's retribution campaign, for crying out loud. It's absurd how they portray these narratives. They can't tell you that, oh, well, he's allegedly, he allegedly lied to Congress, blah, 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 blah. No, it's always Donald Trump. But hang on. Is Donald Trump the one bringing the charges? No. It was recommended by Jim Jordan, as a matter of fact, by Congress, because he lied to Congress. Has nothing to do with Donald Trump, but I guarantee you, like I said, they're going to mention this. I have insider knowledge. Look, folks, I already read the news article, so I happen to know that. I'm trying to portray it like I've got some kind of clairvoyance or something. I knew what's coming. I already read the news article pretty much. Not all of it, but I read most of it, because that's just how I do. For the most part, looked into it. Yes, this actually happened, so you can believe the corporate press on that. Check this out, y'all. House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan is asking the Justice Department to prosecute former CIA Director John Brennan for allegedly lying to Congress more than 2 years ago. It's the latest move in the GOP's campaign to leverage the justice system against President Donald Trump's political adversaries. I knew it's not going to take them long either. This is all orchestrated by Donald Trump, right? I love the double standard here. When, it was Joe Biden in office and Merrick Garland was going after Donald Trump, Joe Biden had absolutely nothing to do with this. As a matter of fact, the Justice Department is an independent agency, and that, Joe Biden doesn't have anything to do with. The president does not dictate who the Attorney General can prosecute. Blah, blah, blah. We heard that tirelessly, right? But now, all of a sudden, now that it's Donald Trump, all of a sudden, he's like, the Muppet Man back here pulling all the strings. Come on, people. Like, can we get our story straight? Can we at least get some kind of intellectual consistency? But no, you don't get that from Democrats, because they can't be intellectually consistent, because that would ruin the narrative. That would totally destroy everything that they say on a daily basis. And then the wool would be gone, folks. The curtain would fall, and we would see that, oh, this has been a narrative the whole time. Republicans are evil, Donald Trump is evil, and Democrats are angels. That's always what they're trying to portray with just about everything, folks. Let's get into this, or keep going. In a letter Tuesday to Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Ohio Republican claimed Brennan, who led the CIA during the probe of Russia's interference in the 2016 election, knowingly made false statements during his transcribed interview with the panel back in May 2023. Jordan's allegations center around Brennan's comments at the time regarding the so-called Steele dossier, a series of largely discredited memos created by a former British intelligence officer, Christopher Steele, that accused Trump and his allies of orchestrating a sweeping election conspiracy with the Kremlin. No, it's completely fabricated. Oh, but you're not going to talk about the connections here to the Clinton campaign? Oh my goodness, Politico. But that would give the game away. Yes. As a matter of fact, Christopher Steele created this entire dossier on orders from Hillary Clinton herself. Steele delivered his dossier to the FBI in 2016, and a summary of its allegations was appended to an intelligence community assessment ordered by outgoing President Barack Obama after Trump was first elected about Russia's involvement in that year's presidential campaign. Yeah, all in a bid to undercut Donald Trump, severely undercut Donald Trump. Brennan's assertion that the CIA was not involved at all with this Steele dossier cannot be reconciled with the facts, Jordan wrote in the new letter to Bondi. Brennan's testimony was a brazen attempt to knowingly and willfully testify falsely and fictitiously to material facts. Trump has long harbored hostility toward Brennan for his role in probing Russia's ties to the 2016 campaign, and the fact that once Brennan left office, the ex-CIA director continued to be an outspoken critic of the president. Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with this, and I can't stand this narrative because it doesn't make any logical sense. Oh, well, this guy's an outspoken critic of Donald Trump, therefore Donald Trump's retribution campaign is focused solely on this person or solely on this person. Oh, he's going after Letitia James. Well, hang on just a second. There are many, many more, much more credible, outspoken critics of Donald Trump than John Brennan, for crying out loud, and Letitia James. Now, look, the Letitia James thing, I understand that one, right? Because she prosecuted him over fake news, basically, right? It wasn't really fake news. It was something that everybody does, like everybody breaks the law, essentially, when they do this, when they're selling properties. I mean, Mar-a-Lago, the valuation of Mar-a-Lago, they overestimated some square footage or something like that, so the valuation was a little bit overestimated. Not very much, because if you look at the loan details, I think Trump wanted $250 million. He ended up with $200 million, right? When we're talking about that much, $200 million. Okay, so that's what they were willing to give a loan for. That doesn't mean that's the property wasn't worth this much, right? Once again, it kind of harkens back to the simple fact that, let's say you have a vape that you hold near and dear to your heart. Right, you've been through tough times with that thing. You've been in the trenches. You've been to prison with this thing, and you love it. It's your favorite vape in the freaking world. And you need some money. You want to part ways with it, so you go to sell it. And you're like, I want $10,000 for this. And somebody's like, what? I can get one of those for $30. Is that some sort of violation of the law? I mean, that's essentially kind of what we have going on here, right? Now I've drummed it up a little bit. It's a little bit hyperbole, if you will, but that's basically what that was. And Letitia James decided, well, technically, he tried to get favorable loan terms by lying, even though there was a disclaimer in the paperwork telling Deutsche Bank, or any bank that was giving out a loan, to go do your due diligence. You check yourself and give a counter offer, essentially. And that's exactly what they did. So there was nobody defrauded, but yet we're going to go with fraud charges anyway. But so I understand why he's going after Letitia James. It was completely fake BS, right? So that is what it is. But I mean, there's much more vocal critics of Donald Trump. Look at Jasmine Crockett, for crying out loud. Hakeem Jeffries. Every single Democrat in the House of Representatives, every single Democrat in the Senate has been much more of an outspoken critic of Donald Trump than John Brennan, for goodness sakes. And he's just ignoring these people. These people are much more of a threat. Chuck Schumer's a much more of a threat than John freaking Brennan, for crying out loud. Like, it doesn't make any sense. This is why this narrative right here, oh, it's just Donald Trump's retribution, it's just a BS campaign. That's all that is. It's just garbage. They're just blowing smoke in your rear. I know that was kind of a long aside for what I was talking about, but, it is what it is. Wow. Brennan is also reportedly already under investigation by the DOJ, but his attorney did not immediately return a request for comment, apparently. Criminal referral from Congress typically carry limited weight with the Justice Department, particularly in matters in which the evidence forming the basis for a potential criminal charge has been public for years. But Trump has made no secret in recent weeks that he expects his prosecutors to criminally charge his political opponents and has publicly pressured Bondi to act quickly in all these cases. In this environment, a referral from a close Trump ally in Congress might draw the president's attention and spur officials to action. I love that. I just simply eat all this stuff up, because what this basically is Democrats over here at Politico banging their fist on the table like, how could he? This person lied to Congress, right? You put Steve Bannon in prison for not speaking to Congress, for contempt of Congress, right? There's other people Peter Navarro went to prison for contempt of Congress, for goodness sakes. Minor charges, right? And that was contentious, like with Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. They had executive privilege on their side. But you know what? House Democrats said, I don't care. Charge him anyway. And they sent the criminal referrals to Merrick Garland's DOJ, and Merrick Garland's DOJ prosecuted, and that went to trial, and they served prison time. Hey, these people will get the same treatment. Once again, folks, hey, you do it to him, he's going to do it to you. Like, you shouldn't have started this game of political gotcha. That's what you should have never done this. You should have never went after Donald Trump for bogus charges that they knew were fake. No, but they thought in their, I'm not going to say it, I'm going to be nice, in their kind of mentally deficient brains, that they thought that, oh, if we arrest Donald Trump and put him in prison, or try to put him in prison, and we throw all these charges, 94 felony convictions, or 94 criminal counts, for crying out loud, if we throw all this at Donald Trump, that'll sway public opinion, and people won't like Donald Trump anymore. But it backfired majorly. After a public plea to Bondi to prosecute New York Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey, for instance, Trump also engineered the ouster of a top federal prosecutor who resisted bringing those cases, instead installing his former personal lawyer, Lindsay Halligan, to a powerful U.S. attorney position. You see how they're trying to drum all this up as, oh, he's just corrupt, isn't he? No, these people were insubordinate. When you frame it like that, now you can see why they got fired. Yeah, they didn't want to bring the charges when there's clear evidence. Once again, folks, in less than 3 weeks, Halligan brought charges against Comey and James, who now say they're being targeted as part of Trump's political vendetta. That's the third time, or the fourth time in this news article. Fascinating, y'all. Instead of working to end their shutdown of the government, lower health care costs, and meet the needs of our people, committed Republicans are dredging up old testimony from Trump's foes, even when the statute of limitations has already run, in the hopes of finding anything that could please their boss, Donald Trump. House Judiciary Ranking Member Jamie Raskin said in a statement, the allegations of lying are flimsy, slipshod, and contradictory. Had trouble getting that out. Slipshod. That's fascinating coming from Jamie Raskin, who, I forget exactly when, said this.
Constitutionalizing Jim Crow. And then it's not until the Warren Court for a couple of decades with the white primary cases and Brown versus Board where you get a different kind of Supreme Court on the side of the freedoms and equality of the American people. But the court is not going to save us. And so that means the only thing that really works is people in motion amending the Constitution. But again, it's necessary, but it's not sufficient, because what can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job.
Now, first, that kind of doesn't make any sense, don't you think? Because, hang on just a second, Jamie Raskin. If Donald Trump wins the election, why would we have roving mobs of Trump supporters? That never made any sense to me. I've played that clip a couple of times. This dude's talking about Civil War conditions and security for everybody. Because of the roving Trump mobs of, Trump supporters or whatever, they're going to be in the Capitol. Oh my God, it's another January 6th. These people are nuts, folks. There's not going to be any mobbing, any roving Trump mobs going around, right? It's just ridiculous. These people are insane, y'all. They really are. The Justice Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Oh, okay, so that's it. That's all to that story. This is fascinating, y'all, and I'm loving every single minute of it. And like I've said before, when I was talking about James Comey, when he got indicted, as a matter of fact, like, you keep on saying it's Donald Trump's political vendetta. Well, prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like, prove it, because it doesn't appear to be that from where I'm sitting. Because from where I'm sitting, these people, all of them, committed a crime. And like I said earlier, there is much more politically advantageous targets for Donald Trump to go after instead of John Brennan and James Comey, for crying out loud. Sure, they're outspoken critics, but what kind of political sway do these people hold? They don't have any power whatsoever. Why wouldn't he go after Chuck Schumer? Why wouldn't he go after Hakeem Jeffries, Jasmine Crockett, any of these people that are actually currently in politics? Why wouldn't he go after Gavin Newsom, who is an actual threat to the president? Like, to becoming president, in other words. Why wouldn't he go after J.B. Pritzker, for crying out loud? I mean, that's the governor of Illinois. All right, so we know there's been several governors of Illinois to go to jail for corruption, as a matter of fact. So why would Trump not go after these people who are actual threats and outspoken critics? Much more outspoken critics. This narrative is broken, folks. It doesn't work. But they still keep trying to pound this into your head. They know it doesn't work. They know it's bogus. They know it's all BS. But what that's meant to do is meant to just pound you. It's meant to browbeat you over the face with this narrative over and over and over and over and over again, in the hopes that one day you'll believe it. That Trump will do something one day to you and piss you off. And you'll just start going with those narratives. You'll just start lying for no reason. They don't understand that people have logic circuits in their brain and they can think about things. And it's narratives like this that just break. They just fall away. It's fascinating, y'all. And I've been rambling. So I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. It blows me away every single day. Seriously. But y'all don't forget, do me that favor, smash that like button for me. I would really, really appreciate that. And if you could, hit that subscribe button. That's a really good way to help this channel. Sharing the video with anybody and everybody that you know is another good way to help this channel. And you know what the best way to help this channel is? As a matter of fact, I need y'all's help on this, y'all. Look right below the video. After you subscribe, click that join button. Sign up and become a member. Join the community, folks. Become a member and help me deliver news like this to you and break these narratives, because there are many, many, many narratives out there that are pervaded and propagated, if you will, by the corporate press on a daily basis. It's a constant feed of fake news, right? It's just fake news streaming at you all the time. And what they love to do, they love to jumble in facts with all this stuff to give themselves more credit. But once again, the overarching narrative is always Republicans are evil and Democrats are angels. So you guys remember that. Sign up, become a member. And remember, folks, that God has a plan for everybody. You might not know what that plan is. You may not see that plan right away, but it's there. And he loves each and every one of you out there. So y'all try to have a good day and stay logical. Peace.